Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions. Today we are discussing a Rolex Certified Pre-Owned Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona. This is the legendary 116598SACO, often known as the Seiko. It's a model launched in 2004, featuring perhaps the most distinctive ever combination of Daytona case, gem setting, strap, and dial. Sometimes known as the Leopard, this watch was made primarily during the 2000s, and it was kind of iconic of a crazy era. This one's an M serial number, so very early 2008 production or very late 2007. Now, in terms of what you're getting, of course, Rolex Certified Pre-Owned watch and all that comes with it. More details at the end of the video, but it's 40 millimeters in diameter in yellow gold. Again, launched at Basel 2004, part of a series of yearly and very low volume handmade Rolex gem set watches. So the 40 millimeter diameter in yellow gold paired with 12.3 millimeter thickness. If we measure the case lug tip to lug tip, just the case is 47.5 millimeters. If we measure the end profile insert on either side, then we have a total distance across the wrist of 50.4 millimeters and a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, one of the characteristics of strap-clad Daytonas, not just this one, but just about all of them, is the use of an insert at the end of the strap that closes the gap between case flank and the end of the strap, so it's more integrated in its aesthetic, and it's always tucked under the edge of the bezel to give a fully integrated all-of-a-piece look, and it does sort of extend the watch across the wrist like a solid end-link bracelet. We'll throw it on my wrist now, which is a 16 centimeter circumference, and it's nothing if not impressive. It may impress upon you different things, emotions, feelings, reactions, but in terms of sheer star power, this is it. You might even call it the Madonna. Taking a look in profile, yeah, it'll fit underneath a cuff, but this is the last watch on earth you buy to disappear underneath a sleeve. I'd say it fits me just fine, though I will also opine that a 14 centimeter circumference wrist is probably the smallest that could effectively wear this due to the extra side-to-side span created by these end links here. Now, what's fascinating is that not every Rolex watch has a model-specific strap, but this one does. And it features an incredible similarity between strap and lacquered dial, and the use of lacquer to create this leopard-like print combined with a bit of a gradient effect, as we have a change in tone from sort of gold to orange. And then we have a combination of brilliant cut diamonds, and you can see brilliant cut is sort of a conventional diamond cut, if you will. It's what you'd see on a diamond ring in many cases. And then we have baguette cut orange sapphires that are scanned by an optical device at Rolex to make sure there's no gradient of color, clarity, or carats, so they are identical from stone to stone, and there's no shift in clarity or color as you move around. Of course, the dial also has brilliant cut gems on solid gold indices. We have gold Rolex coronet, gold hands. Non-luminescent dial, the better to make the most of the gold, the lacquer, and the diamonds. On the crown side, you can see this is a triplock crown in gold, 3 dots with the center largest. And in theory, if you were to put it on a water-resistant strap, this would be 100 meters water-resistant. A lot of folks ask, what does the back of the watch looks like? And on a lot of Rolex watches, there's not a whole bunch to see on the back, but if you want to know, this is what it looks like. The watch features a clasp that represents the pre-2009 version of Rolex's strap-clad Daytona clasp. So we have a series of divots. You can see that there are 5 pairs of divots that allow you to dismount the spring bar and change the anchoring point of the strap. So use your strap tool, you can fine-tune the fit. And then we have first a friction closure, a snap shut, and then we have a clamshell lock that closes everything up and keeps it that way. You can see differential finish here. We have polish, we have satin, and then if you go inside, you can see that there are some hallmarks that are still clear and crisp inside of the clasp. Taking a look at the case, polished beautifully, no scratches, divots, swirls, beautifully intact metal. You could see end to end and side to side that the lugs are full and symmetrical and undiminished by excessive or non-professional polishing. This is a very well-preserved case. Of course, screw-down crowns, all of them, including the chronograph actuators. We have a slightly boxed and cambered sapphire. The dial, instantly recognizable as an in-house caliber Daytona, and for 2 reasons. One, if you look at the registers, You could see that the chronograph minutes and the chronograph hours, the center of the hands slightly above the cannon pinion at center. So these are actually elevated slightly above the junction of the hands at center. And then the big giveaway is when you have running seconds down at 6 o'clock, that's an in-house caliber. If it were the old 40-30 caliber, it would be up here at 9 o'clock. We have yellow gold numerals at the quarters, 15, 30, 45. And then inside we have Rolex's manufactured caliber 4130 bidirectional winding. Features a ball bearing mounted rotor for better shock resistance, 72-hour power reserve, 4 hertz beat rate, a free sprung balance with a full balance bridge and a handmade overcoil hairspring. The former two qualities making the watch robustly shock resistant, the overcoil making it agnostic to position. So being agnostic to position, it'll effectively operate in isochronous or consistent timekeeping fashion in any physical orientation with respect to gravity. 5 position adjustment, 44 pivot jewels. It has a stop seconds function. It is a vertical clutch and column wheel chronograph. I'll do my best to open up this crown here. Now you can see when the chronograph seconds hand engages, there's no jump or stagger. That's the advantage of a vertical clutch. And under my finger, I enjoy the crisp, tactile action of a column wheel. Another advantage of a vertical clutch is that you can engage the chronograph and leave it running full time. If you just want to have your hours, minutes, and seconds at center, you can do that quite easily. It looks great, and it makes it a little bit easier to follow the seconds. If you don't need the chronograph function for a dedicated stopwatch, you can actually run the chronograph seconds hand full time and just enjoy having running seconds at center. Lots to love right here, and of course the fact that it is a Rolex Certified Pre-Owned watch. If you love it, you want to know more, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.